Do I?
Thank you guys so much all for joining us, participating in this quick poll to get us started.
I think my keys are kind of getting messed up a little bit where I'm just not able to see my cursor for some reason.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I use compressed air to clean my mouse. Like if you get something on it, it won't. I don't know. And keyboards stick now too sometimes.
Could you click enter and see if that would
Yeah.
the next slide?
Yeah, or maybe arrows.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting this meeting is recorded by a host or participant, and I just am not
yeah.
able to see my slides. And I'm just trying to get out of, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to do the escape just to see like if I could get out of it. But okay, now I'm good.
Awesome. Awesome. So we are going to start with some quick introductions on behalf of our board. If you filled out the summer solstice poll, thanks for letting us know. I personally am a huge summer fan, so I'm upset that the days are going to start getting shorter from here on out, but I know a lot of people who are just ready for fall to be here.
Really?
Thank you for
Wow.
participating. And I'll share those results so you guys can see how people voted.
There they are.
Cool. So we will ask that everybody go ahead and mute, and we will start with some board introductions. So my name is Posey Lou Henderson. I sit on the social media St. Louis board. I helped in coordinating and planning this event. Apologies that we pivoted to virtual last minute, but with schedules and things like that in the summer months, we figured that this would be a more accessible way to still host this event. As I mentioned earlier, for those of you who have been on for a minute, we are hoping to do some events in conjunction with Serendipity Labs in Clayton, just to get some FaceTime and some in-person time at a beautiful co-working space. So be on the lookout for that, please. And if you are not on our email list, feel free to message me privately in the chat and I'm happy to add you. If you are on the list and you want to unsubscribe, definitely have that capability is within the emails as well. But hoping not to flood your inbox and only to bring you valuable content like the recording of this event once it's finished. Alicia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Hi, I am Alicia, and I've just been on the board this year, and it has been really fun. I'm really excited for Pooja's presentation today. And
Awesome.
I'll pass it along to Eric.
Yes.
I think that's all.
Thank you all. Yeah, so I'm Eric Radom. I've been with Social Media Club for 3-4 years now. And like Alicia and Posey Lou, I'm on the board, organize events, all that stuff. So hopefully for some of you, if you're in the area and not outside of St. Louis, hopefully we'll see you out when we are in person at events. But I hope you all enjoy today.
Yep, absolutely. And then Pooja, if you want to give us a little background about yourself, what you do, and little prelude to what you'll be presenting about today.
Yeah, so my name is Pooja Arshnapalli. I'm the owner of The Novus, where I help mostly coaches and authors use social media as a way to establish themselves as an expertise. And yeah, I'm here to present the 5 ChatGPT prompts. It's kind of just an overview of like, if you're starting off and you want to create social media content for yourself, here are like 5 basic prompts you can do to guide you along to help you reduce your workflow. So you're able to get things done more proactively.
Awesome. Feel free to kick us off, Pooja. And once again, no pressure to have cameras on. The session is being recorded, just so you're all aware, and we will be posting it to our YouTube channel following this presentation.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna get started. So I would say, like, in general, social media, at least within the past few years, it has been a huge part. It has been for a lot of business owners, it has been an additional thing that they have to put, an additional task that they have to have. It's a great way for brand awareness and being able to spread your message. But there are also like downsides to it where it can be also very time consuming, and it can be for several of reasons. So the first thing is a lot of people don't know what to post. It's kind of just like feeling overwhelmed with knowing what to do. Another thing is there's too many trends to keep track of. So you may not know what medium to do, how the algorithms work, what channel you're supposed to go on. I think especially with organic social media, it can be hard to see the return on investment, especially if you are trying to get a certain quota. It can be hard to measure right off the bat. So I would say social media for specifically for organic content, it's more of a long-term investment. And then I think the last one is like lack of funds. So let's say like you want to outsource it. You may not be able right now to afford to hire someone to do it for you. And let's say if you are able to afford it, you may not be able to, like, you take on the risk whenever you hire someone of whether or not they are a good fit for you and your business. And also, you also have to be knowledgeable of whether or not the expectations of how your certain goals or what the goals that you have for what you want to achieve as well. So here's how ChatGPT can help you. So I wanted to give an overview of what ChatGPT is. Basically, ChatGPT is an AI chat box that can help understand human language, and it responds to the prompts you feed it. So I'm gonna exit out of the presentation and just give you an overview of ChatGPT itself. So you can see like right here, basically, if you don't have an account, how you can set up is either you Google OpenAI or you can Google ChatGPT, and it should be the first link that you see. The company who owns it is OpenAI, and you don't have to pay for it. You can get a free account, but I would say ChatGPT Plus is an addition thing, and it's like $20 a month. I have the subscription, but I think for majority of people, you really don't need it. So basically, when you open up an account, this is the interface that you should be seeing. The only difference that I have, because I have the paid account, is I see the plus, but everything else should be the same. So if you may not have access to the different versions. So I think the normal version only has access to 3.5 version, whereas I have access to 4.0 version. Another thing is like right here, you'll see like a new chat. Basically every time you click on a new chat, you're opening up a new conversation. So you can see on the tabs right here, these are the different conversations I'm having with ChatGPT. So whenever I create a prompt, so for example, let's say name 10 recipes for dinner. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just giving ChatGPT a specific command, and they're responding with an answer based on the prompt that I gave it. And so basically this tab right here is a specific conversation I'm having with ChatGPT. So one best practice is trying to, like, for example, let's say you wanted to have you have something for your business, trying to keep certain topics in specific conversations with it. So like branding, like right here, there's a tab for branding for social media. Let's say that would be like focus for my business, whereas dinner recipes would be specifically for like things that I want to do outside of my business. And the reason why I say that is every time you have a prompt, you're given like every prompt that you have like a thumbs up and a thumbs down notification, and you can improve the feedback every response you get. And every time you improve the feedback means that your responses are getting more tailored as time goes on. So it's just best, like it's not saying that you can't do it, but it's just best practice to keep specific topics within a separate tab for every conversation you have.
Awesome. And I do want to say, guys, feel free to send questions in the chat. We will have some time for Q&A.
Okay, so I've probably only talked about a little bit of ChatGPT, but I would say it has a lot of capabilities. These are a couple of it. It can streamline workflows. It can help with content creation. It can help with customer service, lead generation. But I think with all of those different tasks, ChatGPT, like if you use it, it's not a one size fits all solution. But it does help you get started. So I would say ChatGPT eliminates the rough draft in your process. So it kind of removes the grunt work that you have to do. So you'll never have to start from scratch. So within the outline, I have like 5 ChatGPT prompts that I'll be discussing, and these are the different types of content that each prompt will be addressing. So we'll first start with find your target audience, how to generate content ideas, how to create engaging content, how to write in your tone of voice, and then overall how to create a content calendar. So before I even start with the prompts, I want to first talk about how to structure your prompts so you're getting the best type of response, because the more specific your response, the more specific your prompts are, the better responses you're going to get from ChatGPT. So here are a couple of guides. The first 3 things is it must be direct. It must be easy to understand. So try to avoid heavy jargon when you're trying to use ChatGPT, unless it makes sense to use that specific jargon based on the type of content you're trying to get from ChatGPT. And it also must be specific. So for example, I have 3 different types of examples that we're just going to test out. So the first one is provide 5 social media posts about coaching. And I'm just going to put that in the chat. I'm going to increase so we're able to visually see it. So right here, it created 5 different posts about coaching. I'm going to read out one post. So the first post reads out, unlock your full potential with coaching. Are you ready to reach new heights in your personal and professional life? Discover the transformative power of coaching. Gain clarity, set goals, and overcome obstacles with the guidance of a skilled coach. Start your coaching journey today. #coaching, #personal development, #goal setting. So I would say based on these 5 posts, I don't like it provided 5 posts, but based on the social media platform, this is a very like this is pretty short based on the different types of platforms. So like maybe this would have worked on Twitter where you need something that's very short, but for LinkedIn, a lot of people liked hearing people's stories. Some platforms want more long term. So I kind of want to add on to it. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go and use the second prompt and make it a little bit longer. So the second prompt reads, provide 5 social media posts about business coaching, 150 words for each caption. And I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay, so from the last prompt, since coaching is very like, there's so many different avenues when it comes to coaching, it can be very broad. So I added business coaching and I included 150 words for each caption. So I'm going to read the first post. Propel your business to new heights. Ready to take your business to the next level? Our business coaching services are designed to empower entrepreneurs like you. Gain strategic insights, refine your business plans, and overcome business challenges with the guidance of experienced coaches. Let us help you unlock your full potential and achieve extraordinary success. Hashtag business coaching, hashtag entrepreneurship, hashtag success. So I would say that like the problems are a little bit more specific because it's targeting businesses and it's addressing specific challenges that businesses are wanting to deal with. And it kind of went a little bit more in depth with how big the word length is, but I'm gonna be a little bit more specific on in business coaching, what type of businesses do you want to target? So I'm gonna go on to the third prompt, which is provide 5 social media posts about business coaches to help small businesses scale their businesses from 0 to 5K a month in sales. And then I have in parentheses 150 words for each post. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the first post. And I'm going to read this one out loud. Scale your small business to 5K a month and beyond. Are you a small business owner looking to boost your sales and reach to new heights? Our business coaching program is tailored specifically to help you scale your business from 0 to 5K a month in sales. With our proven strategies and personal guidance, you will learn how to optimize your marketing, attract more customers, and increase your revenue. Let us be your partner in success. Hashtag business coaching, hashtag small business success, hashtag scaling up. So based on the first prompt where we were just talking about coaching versus being a little bit more specific on like how specific the audience is and like where are they at in their business, we were able to have more context to give more guidance on how the caption is structured. Therefore, this prompt is talking about a specific audience of like, so for example, in one of the things that they talked about is like increasing your revenue having personalized guidance for people who are just starting to scale your business. A lot of those keywords are now introduced based on the prompt that you're given them, versus, let's say in the first prompt, it was basically just talking about coaching. It was gain clarity, set goals, and overcome obstacles. But with every type of business, I would say a lot of businesses have those type of goals. So just to give you clarity of like, just to give an explanation of, the more specific you have with each prompt that you give, the better response you're gonna have for the prompt that you feed it. So is there any questions based on what I just presented?
Yes, I have a question for you, Pooja. Two questions, actually. One is, I've used ChatGPT, but not the paid version. And I'm wondering if it generates social media specific posts, like, for instance, like you mentioned, Twitter, or one for LinkedIn. Does it differentiate or understand the specs of those platforms, or the personalities, if you will, or qualities of those platforms?
I honestly, I don't know if it does.
Okay.
I think like if you say I want a Twitter post, it might
Right.
have like, it might be like, oh, like maybe put like 2 or 3 sentences. It may have like a gist of it, but
Okay.
it's not gonna have the specific characters of how many
Sure.
posts,
Gotcha.
or how like the like, so like
Character
for
count.
example,
Yeah.
LinkedIn is, yeah, like
Yeah.
the specific ones.
Okay. Okay, cool. The only other question I had is regarding the content that it generates. I also do a lot of SEO work, so I'm always, kind of concerned or interested in, I've seen different articles saying that the content may be considered not original or somewhat plagiarized. Do you know, when you create these prompts, if somebody else looked for, give me a social media post for a career coach, would you get content that is similar to the content that other people receive from that same prompt or similar prompt? Do you know?
So I've done workshops with the specific, like these prompts.
Yeah.
And I've seen people get different responses.
Okay.
So it's not like word for word. I would say like,
Right.
the intent is the same,
Mm-hmm.
the same structure, but I
Okay.
don't think the word format is by word.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next thing is the types of ChatGPT prompts, on how like, well, these are the things that I'm sure there's many ways that you can write for the prompts for ChatGPT, but these are the 3 ways that I have learned that has worked for me. So one way is just to create a direct statement, which is like what I've been doing in the last prompts, is provide me 5 social media posts. That's a direct statement. Another one would be a question, and it could be like, can you provide me 5 social media posts? And then the third one is role playing. So basically for role playing is you're asking ChatGPT to be a certain type of role, and you're giving them specs on what they're trying to look for that role. So for example, let's say I asked ChatGPT to be my copywriter. So I asked them to be my copywriter, and I want them to do these certain tasks. And I tell them to do these certain tasks if they were my copywriter. And then they provide a response based on what you're asking them to do. So I'm going to start with the first prompt. I will read it out loud, and then I'll explain exactly like what everything means. And then I also, if you are planning on doing this, like following along, just let me know. And I will put the response or like the prompts in the chat. And I just wanted to let you know, if you're planning on doing this along, that every prompt feeds after another one. So just make sure once you get a response from ChatGPT to copy and paste it in like a notebook or somewhere else, so you're able to use the same content from the last prompt. So the first prompt reads is, I want you to act as a marketer for company name. You are well known for what you do plus mission statement. I want you to create a persona for my business. So basically, this is the company. That is where you're putting your company. You are well known for what you do plus mission statement. So for this, you don't have to put mission statement. This could be interchangeable. It could be what you do, and it could be your mission statement. Basically, what you're trying to address is what makes you unique compared to other companies of what you do. And then basically a persona is like a specific person who uses your service, your app, whatever you provide. It's like a hypothetical person. And the reason before you do any social media marketing or you always start with your target audience. So you understand what their motivations are and like how do they want to be attracted with or attracted to, or how do they want to be sold to. So I kind of created a fake, I will copy this and put this in the chat just for everyone can copy and paste it. Okay, so I created a fake company. So this is what I will be using throughout all of the prompts. So it reads as, I want you to act as my marketer for Harmony Coaching. You are well known for devoted to empowering women in their 40s who are juggling the demands of family life and nurturing their own personal growth. We believe that every woman deserves to find harmony between their roles as a mother, partner, and individual. And I want you to create a persona for my business. I also included, it should be specific, easy to understand. It will be the backbone of my marketing strategy. I've used this before, this part, but honestly, I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. But I'm just gonna copy and paste this and put this in the chat. Okay, so right here you have a persona. You can see that it has a background, the goals and desires, the challenges and pain points, how her coaching can help, and a key message of Harmony Coaching, her business as a whole. So I've done this prompts many times, and whenever I do workshops with different people, they always get different types of responses. So they do get a persona, but like the categories, like they may not get the background, or they may not get the goals and desires. Or for example, sometimes the goals and desires is a bulleted list where it's just like a couple of sentences, or it's like one sentence, where you're able to get a lot of information, but it's not always consistent. if you're continuously trying to do it. So I kind of I wanted to introduce one part of the prompts, and I'm going to add a second part to this prompt. So the second part to this prompt is, my business is, use the following criteria: name, role, pains, name, role, problem, pains, and motivation. So basically what you're trying to do is you're telling ChatGPT, my business is, and you're telling ChatGPT to use the following criteria, and you're giving them specs on like, and you're giving them a description of like how you want it to be filled. So you're telling ChatGPT, I want you to give them the name, I want you to give them the specific role, the problem that they're facing, what they're struggling with, and what are their motivations. And then ChatGPT will then fill out those specific criterias that you're asking for. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna copy. I'll copy and paste it in the chat so people can use it. I already have some of it done, so I'm just gonna copy and paste what I have for my hypothetical business, and I'm just gonna put it in the chat. Let me. Okay, so right here, you have the persona name, you have the role, the problem, the pains that this persona is dealing with, her motivations. So you can see that it's like when you give a specific criteria that it's following a certain path. Where ChatGPT, you're basically giving ChatGPT a structure on what criteria it needs to fill based on like the information you're giving it to. So based on this persona, I'm just gonna give an overview of this persona. So her name is Claire Evans. She's her one thing she's struggling with is balancing family and personal growth. And one thing she's struggling with is Claire is constantly juggling the demands for her family, including managing the household, taking care of her children's needs, and maintaining a strong relationship with her partner. And then a motivation is she just wants to find some way of a balance, so she's able to have her own personal growth as well as be able to take care of her family. So one thing if you're planning on going along with this, one thing I want you to do is, based on your persona, I want you to pick one specific pain that ChatGPT has, and I want you to copy and paste that and put that into a notebook or a specific place where you can put that, because we're going to use one of the pains in the next prompt. So for me, I'm just gonna copy and paste the overwhelming responsibilities. So the next prompt is generating content ideas. So now that we have like a specific persona, we're gonna generate content ideas based on the pains and motivations that they're currently struggling with that specific persona that we created. So I'm going to read the prompts. Give me number of items, ideas for company name about what you do plus mission statement covering pain/motivation. So basically what I'm going to do is give me number of items. So I'm going to put 5 ideas, but it's just any type of ideas that you want. Your company name, and then what you do. So do plus mission statement. That's basically your mission statement of like your unique proposition of what makes you stand out, and then covering pains and motivation. So I said pains, but you could also put motivation. Just make sure that it's just one idea for right now, so it's not overly complicated. I'm just gonna copy and paste that and put it in the chat. So for right here, I'm just gonna copy what I have. And then I'm just gonna put, and also like, for example, like, when I put Claire's constantly juggling the demands of her family, it may not make grammatically sense when you copy and paste this into the chat. Don't worry about the grammatical part of it. If you're like misspelling words or anything like that, ChatGPT usually is able to understand grammatical errors or like certain sentence structures. So don't worry about it being it not making sense, because usually ChatGPT will correct it. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put this in the chat and let's see the response that we get from it. Okay, so now we have 5 different ideas. I'm just going to give an overview of the 5 different ideas. So the first one is time management mastery, offer a comprehensive program that helps women in their 40s manage their time and their responsibilities. The second one is parent-child bonding workshops, organize interactive workshops and seminars focused on strengthening the bond between mother and their children. The third one is a relationship enrichment retreat, arrange weekend retreats designed to rejuvenate and enhance the relationship between partners. Fourth one is personal growth masterminds, create small mastermind groups consisting of like-minded women in their 40s who are striving for personal growth. And then the fifth one is establish an online platform where women can connect, support, and inspire each other. So based on the response that we have 5 different ideas that we could play off of based on a specific motivation or pain that your current persona is facing. Just want to make sure, is there any questions? I just want to make sure that everyone is able to catch up.
Sure, I have a question again, it's me. How many personas do you typically create? Do you just do one and then create all your topics and content, or do you create maybe multiple personas?
I usually create multiple personas.
Okay.
It really depends on the type of demographics you're looking for.
Sure.
But I would say like a couple of one, like at least like 3 or 4.
Okay.
And then being able, and then also just in general, a persona is like a hypothetical. I would also look at your demographics through analytics and make sure that the people who you're targeting is like within the like in the analytics that you're they both are consistent as well.
When you formulate your personas, I use the HubSpot persona method under they have that direct design or growth driven design theory of agile like work. flow. But what they do is they define a persona as like, I guess like they give them a name. So Carol, the career coach, wants clients that are women who have this level of education, household income, da 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 da, and their dream is to, like, I just wondered if you have like a flow or a theory that you use every time for defining your personas.
Yeah. So for this specific workshop, I think I made it very like I tried to make it as simplistic as possible.
Okay.
And I just focused on the pains and motivations for right now. But
Mm.
I think like if I was gonna create a persona just in general, I would focus on who are they, what is their role. I
Mhm.
would focus on pains and motivations, but then I would also like what is their day in the life? Basically just like
Right.
a description of like what do they do in work, and then also like what are their responsibilities outside of work.
Sure. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I've got another question. How is this different from Googling with a specific query for ideas? Okay, so I would say like if you so when you say is it just more like Googling online for ideas of it? So I would say like if you're, let's say like you just wanted to Google content ideas, I think for example, for this specific example, like harmony coaching, you may have to like go a little bit more specific, like for Googling certain ideas, it can be difficult to know exactly how your business can generate content ideas versus like you asking about like life coaching, or you could probably like search like wellness coaching. You could search specific ideas for in general for the type of like service that you offer. But I think when it comes to the motivations and delving into like specific problems that your audience is facing, I don't know how, I'm not sure how specific Google can figure out different ideas. So I'm sure like right now, like you could find ideas that are just content ideas. You could find certain ideas within what we just have done. But I would say like ChatGPT also, based on the prompts that we're continuously doing, it will be able to create a better tailored response, the more specific that you go into it. So like once we get into the content ideas, you can develop more and more into it. So it's always like tailoring your response to based on like the past prompts that you feed it, versus like Google searching is just focusing on that specific search that you have. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm gonna go into the next prompt. So if anyone's who's wanting to continue, like wants to do it along with me, I want you to pick one of the content ideas and copy and paste that into another notebook, because we're gonna delve off of one of the content ideas that that ChatGPT has generated. So I'm just gonna copy and paste the time management mastery. So this one is gonna be, I'm gonna first read the prompts, explain a couple of things, and then I will then demonstrate it. So the third prompt reads, come up with a caption outlining the pains or motivations offered by what you do mission statement. So your unique proposition with content idea using the AIDA framework. So the first thing is, what is an AIDA framework? So this is like, I think for copywriters, this is one way that it's an acronym that allows people to write, that is structured and gets people to take action, and it gets people to get interested in what you're saying. So I'm just gonna break it down. So first is attention. So that's your attention getter. And that's basically to get people's attention. So it's usually addressing a pain point that your audience is currently struggling with. The second is interest. So it's diving deeper into that pain or motivation that your audience is facing. Desire is more of like how your company can solve that problem. So how can your company solve that problem or help that problem that your audience is facing? And then action is, after your audience or someone who has read that post, what do you want them to do after? So it's your call to action of getting them on a website or getting them to sign up for an email list or getting them to click on a service, etc. So I'm going to go back to the third prompt. And I'm just going to post this in the chat. So I have mine right here. And I'm just going to copy and paste this content idea right here. Okay, so right here, I have, and it's structured in the AIDA framework. So I'm gonna read it out loud. Overwhelmed by the demands of family and struggling to nurture your own personal growth, discover the key to finding harmony in your roles as a mother, partner, and individual with our time management mastery program. Learn practical strategies, tools, and techniques to effectively manage your time, streamline your household tasks, and create schedules that prioritize your responsibilities. Take charge of your life today and carve out dedicated time for personal growth pursuits. Join our comprehensive program and unlock the secrets to finding balance and fulfillment. So from here, you're able to create a more structured caption to get people interested, and it's a lot easier compared to you just providing a caption. It's more informative for ChatGPT when you have when you're using a framework and then you're giving more context to what this persona needs to be able to have a more structured caption. Because I would say in the first prompt that we had, let's say the first prompt that we created was create 5 captions for coaching. And it kind of just gave us 3 sentences and then 3 hashtags. Whereas right here, you're able to have a more fine-tuned caption that you're able to use. Is there any questions? Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna make it it's going to be, I'm going to switch this off a little bit. It's going to be, so this one is going to be how to write in your tone of voice. I would say ChatGPT has a lot of different types of things that have gone well with them, but the thing that it gets slack for is writing very generic content. So I wouldn't say this is like a one size fits all solution of like it will be within completely in your tone, but this helps you have a better tailored experience. So you're able to write a lot better in your tone of voice. So if you are following along, what I want you to do is it doesn't have to be like if you happen to have like any type of copy that you have written in the past, it could be like website copy, it could be a previous social media post that you created. It doesn't have to be your tone of voice. Let's say you just wanted to create, you just want to use ChatGPT's prompt or a specific prompt that you already created today. Just copy and paste that. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to write, please analyze my tone of voice. And then you're just going to insert medium of copy. So that could just be a paragraph from a website, social media post, a current ChatGPT prompt that you already created, and you're going to put that in the chat. So I'm going to this. Okay, so the question reads, how does it define your tone of voice? So basically what it's going to do is it's going to analyze the tone of voice. Actually, just let me show you and I'll show you how it analyzes. I think it'd be better if I just showed you the response. So I'm going to copy and paste this in the chat. So I just kind of created my own caption and I'm just gonna put this in the chat and let's see. So I'm gonna give an overview of what we saw. So basically it's saying that my tone of voice is nurturing, empathetic, and empowering. I'll read a couple of captions of what this tone of voice is analyzing. So what this caption reads is juggling the joys and challenges of family life while yearning for personal fulfillment. At Harmony Coaching, we understand your beautiful complexity, reconnect with your essence, honor passions, dreams, and aspirations. So from that specific caption, it's analyzing and saying that my tone is nurturing, empathetic, and empowering. And then it's talking about certain phrases that I use. So the use of phrases such as beautiful complexity and reconnect with your essence shows an appreciation for multifaceted nature of women's lives. And then it talks about your tone of voice encourages women to honor their passions, dreams, and aspirations, emphasizing the importance of self-reflection and self-care. So it kind of shows like different, it talks about your tone of voice, the tone, like the specific adjectives that it describes for the tone of voice. It also gives like certain phrases that you use, and it gives an explanation on how this impacts, how it helps you with your target audience. But I would say in general, this is just a lot of words. So if you're trying to get your tone of voice at a faster rate, based on this description, what I want you to get from is I want you to look at the adjectives that it's describing, and I want you to use this, use these adjectives whenever you create a social media post. So instead of, so for example, let me go back and I'm just going to create a caption. I'm going to just create like a simple come up with a nurturing So come up with the nurturing caption about women in their 40s balancing the work-life schedule. So you can see like right here, I would say a nurturing caption, it's trying to, let me read out loud. So in a world filled with work demands and personal aspirations, finding balance is key. At Harmony Coaching, we understand unique challenges faced by women in their 40s as they juggle work and personal lives. Our nurturing post empowers you to create a harmonious work-life schedule that brings fulfillment and well-being. So I would say like for different adjectives that you're using, I would like any type of content that you use, I would use the adjectives to help tailor your tone of voice to make it less generic, and be able to get closer to how you phrase things. And then if you want to take a step further, I would start looking at how like certain phrases that you use that ChatGPT also recognizes, and just be aware of like, oh, these are certain phrases that I actually use, and maybe I should continue using these type of phrases. But if you just want to just get something like fast, just focus on the adjectives. Whenever you create a post or create any type of content, I would just start with these specific adjectives to describe your tone of voice. Okay. Is there any questions with what I have here?
Yes, can you ask ChatGPT to pick a tone? Like if like Grammarly does that quite a bit, where it'll say you want to be authoritative, trusted, friendly, consultative, or something like that. Does I guess does ChatGPT do that in a similar fashion?
I mean, I don't think I've actually done it, but I'm sure it can. So like if you ask ChatGPT, like I want this specific criteria, what type of tone of voice would match it? I'm sure it would easily provide you
Gotcha.
an option for that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about is how to create a content calendar. So just in general, when it comes to creating content, I think a lot of it comes with just being consistent. And being consistent means that you also have to plan out your content. Otherwise, if you do too much at once, you'll eventually it will lead to burnout. So one thing that content calendars do is you are able to plan either months or weeks of content ahead of time before you start posting. So I created a kind of just like a prompt to help you guide you along to create a content calendar, to give you a guide of like what type of posts you could create within a certain month or time. So let me first read out loud what the prompt says, and then I'll explain more into detail what it is trying to do. So the prompt reads, create tone of voice, social media content posting table for company, which is your company, that includes the following for service/product. So I would say this is your unique proposition. So it's basically what you do, how you stand out from the crowd, and then outlining pains and motivations. So any motivation or pain that your company is currently struggling with. And then under below, I have like 3 different columns. So basically what you're doing is you're creating like a table. So think of an Excel sheet where you're creating a table and you're defining the columns of like what type of column that you want for each column. And so like for the first column, you're creating a line of the date of posts that you want to create. The column 2 is the social media post. So you can include 2 different topics. For right now, I would just include one type of content idea just to make things more simplified. And the third I just added is an ideal image to describe the caption for the post. So I'm just going to post this in the chat. Okay. So I'm just going to put a content idea in right here. And I'm just going to write maintain balance life between work and family. Okay, so now I have the 5th prompt, and I'm just going to enter. Let's see. So right here, you can see that there has a table. Basically, we created 3 columns. So we have the first column, which is date of posts, and you can be more specific. I just made it very generic. So you can be more specific on what type of dates that you have. And then here is the social media post. So here's like the caption that you could create within each post. And then for each post, there's an ideal image. So let's read the first caption. Join our supportive online platform and connect with fellow women in their 40s who understand the challenges of balancing work and family. And then there was an image of diverse women connecting and supporting each other online. So based on each caption, you have a specific image or an image direction of like where you want your specific caption to go. So it kind of just gives you an overview of like where to start. Obviously, like this is a very like generic or rough idea of like of a caption, but you can always make it more specific and make it more tailored to you. But it definitely gets you a lot more ahead compared to trying to start from scratch. Is there any questions with the specific prompt?
I have a question. Do we here when we use image, do we need to worry about copyright, things like that, when we use it in social media like LinkedIn?
So I think like if you're just focusing on image direction, I don't think copyright would be a problem. I think it's more of like if you're trying to claim something as your own. So for example, for me, like I just use stock images. So either I have like, I know you can get stock images for free. So there's graphic images. There's like websites like Unsplash where you can have free images that are free to use. But I also like, you can also pay for it as well. That's how I get my stock images. But if I was planning on using someone else's images, usually I would give credit down below if I needed to use it as a reference point. But does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is the last. I kind of gave a bonus script. I think so this is for outlining your script. So I would say just in general, I kind of gave more content creation, but I think video also is also another portion of it where a lot of people may have podcasts. So this is solely for a podcast, but I would say like any prompt that you use can be interchangeable based on your product or service. I just created a podcast script to make it more specific so you can understand how ChatGPT works based on a certain criteria that you have. But outlining a script could be either be like a blog post, it could be an email marketing strategy, it can be a video, it can be a YouTube video. So right now, like I kind of just want to focus on podcasting for this specific prompt, but it can be interchangeable. I'm going to read out the prompt. I want you to act as and then type of position that you want ChatGPT to role play as. You are known for mission statement or what you do. So for your unique proposition, I need an outline for type of medium. So this could be like a blog post, a podcast script, etc. And then the topic of this podcast will be outlining content idea. So I'm gonna go. Basically in this, I'm gonna read out loud what I wrote. I want you to act as my subcontractor that is a promotional podcast service company. You are well known for producing quality podcast scripts, for outlining a script for interviewing people. I need an outline for a podcast script. The topic will be outlining a promotional material for a free webinar discussing practical self-care strategies tailored specifically for women in their 40s who are juggling multiple responsibilities. I'm going to put that in the chat. Okay, so you can see here that it has like a title, an introduction, and it gives you like an overview of like what you should be discussing, breaks it down into 4 different segments, and then it has a conclusion wrapping up of different ideas that you could do for it. And then it also has an outro of a script. So this is just like a rough outline. So if you, let's say if you are more tailored into podcasting, you could go more specific onto what type of script that you want. This is just like the rough outline of what you could do with it. Does that make sense? Okay, so yeah, that's all the prompts that I have on my end. So is there anyone who has questions just in general about ChatGPT?
I think one of the big questions is obviously whether you think the world's going to come down to content creators that use it or content creators that don't use it and have no work. I guess like it's pretty much going to become an essential skill set, right?
Yeah, I think now it's, so I think okay, so I would say like I'll give you an analogy where like the invention of a calculator. Like I think most people know mental math, like people are taught mental math, but I think most people don't use it on a daily basis. They use their calculator because it saves them a lot more time.
Right. Right.
And I think that's how the world is going to go, where like
Okay.
I think it's important for people to know how to do it regardless. I guess I mean, obviously, I think for me as a marketer, I think it's important for me to understand how things work. It may not be important for other people, but it definitely, I think now like it's gonna, with AI, it's gonna remove a lot of the grunt work, and it's gonna have people focus more on the ideas and the marketing strategy part of it.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. The only other question is how, as AI develops, obviously it's learning all the time, hence artificial intelligence. Do you think the copy will become even more, I guess, human-like or more in a human voice?
See, I don't know. I would say like maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where it's going to turn out to. I just don't know.
Sure. Sure. Gotcha. Cool.
Pooja, I've got a question. What is your process for pulling content from the ChatGPT system and publishing it from there? Do you just use it as a template and kind of pick it apart and replace content throughout? Do you parse it out and break it down? Like, what does that look like when you're pulling it from ChatGPT into whatever you're using it for?
Yeah, so I would say like I use it like, I would say that for ChatGPT, all the things that I post, it's not just a copy and paste from ChatGPT. It's more of like like, for example, let's say I wanted to start from scratch and I just wanted to like, okay, the first thing is like I want to create content ideas. And then I just use ChatGPT alongside of what I want. So for me, like I already have the marketing plan or the plan of action of the goals that I want. And then I just use ChatGPT to help me with those goals. But I'm always like double checking of like whether or not this works or not. So it kind of just helps me produce ideas faster, and helps me get like, basically, and I said like ChatGPT is like your rough draft. It kind of is my rough draft where I have like certain prompts, certain tailored prompts that because I've done it for so long, it's like I have certain tailored prompts based on what I need. And I just put that in the chat or put that in the conversation and just see what they come up with. Just use that, copy it, paste it, and try to tailor that specific content a little bit to make it more of my own.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I have to thank you for providing such awesome prompts to work from. I was following along with you and I got some pretty great content in what I was plugging in. So I do see the disclaimer, and this is something I know a lot of people are wary of, that ChatGPT may produce inaccurate information about people, places, or facts. And so I think that's great to hear that it's just kind of your starting point to guide those ideas. And then you tend to work from there and also fact check along the way. Any other questions? All right. Well, please be sure to follow Social Media Club St. Louis on all of our social channels. We are active on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So please stay tuned on our upcoming events, and also definitely connect with our board and with Pooja on the social channels as well. I see a few people popped in their LinkedIn links, so feel free to do that. Once again, I'm sorry this didn't end up happening in person, but I'm really glad we got to do it virtually. So a huge thank you to the Social Media Club St. Louis board, to all of you guys for attending, and of course to our wonderful speaker and presenter, Pooja. Thank you so much. That was so awesome and helpful, especially with the tool that can seem so daunting and overwhelming at first use. You're getting all the applause.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for the recording if you're on our mailing list and if you registered. Thank you, guys.